watching NBC for New York. And now, Chuck Scarborough, Sue Simmons, Janice Huff, and Len Berman. This is News Channel 4 at 11.
Dr. Martin Luther King inspired millions of people and changed the country forever. The champion of civil rights paid the price with his life. And tonight the nation celebrates his legacy. Linda Baccaro's here with more. Linda?
Sue and Chuck, from Harlem to Atlanta to California, there were tributes across the country today to honor Dr. King's work and to note the achievements made in his name in the struggle for civil rights. Tonight he was remembered through prayer and song at a church in Harlem.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
The Kokolo Japanese Gospel Choir joined the Convent Avenue Baptist Church Choir in a special tribute tonight to the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his message of equality for all.
I think Kokoro's presence really assures people that gospel is for everyone.
The service was just one of several remembrances in our area. Today, Mayor Bloomberg recalled King's words: the doors of opportunity should be open to all of God's children.
We're creating a vocational component in our schools to try to entice kids to stay in school.
Reverend Al Sharpton reminded his congregation the struggle must continue with grace.
We went from the back of the bus to the front of City Hall with amazing grace. When Dr. King got started, we were in segregated barracks in the U.S. Army. Today, there's a black woman going to be Secretary of State.
In Washington, President and Mrs. Laura Bush were at the Kennedy Center paying tribute to King.
He was disappointed in the unfair practices of his country. Yet he said there can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love.
In Memphis, where King was fatally shot 37 years ago, crowds gathered at the National Civil Rights Museum. There are plans underway for a permanent memorial to Dr. King. A plaque now lies on the site, where it's expected to be built perhaps as early as next year. It will be midway between the Jefferson and Lincoln Memorials in Washington, D.C. It was on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial that King spoke those most famous words.
I have a dream.
King's son, Martin Luther King III, asked Americans on this day to remember his father's message of compassion by reaching out to the victims of the tsunami disaster.